Welcome to Tuscany in Italy, where I'm getting a first look at the Skoda Enyaq Coupe in RS. Guys, this is the one. 300 brake horsepower, dual motored, tons and tons of spec, even for the Irish market. Heat pump, standard. Glass roof, standard. Blind spot, standard. Heads up reality, augmented reality, not standard. But most of the stuff is. You can get matrix headlights, they're not standard. There's 24 little LED lights per bulb. So let's start with some stats that we got today at Skoda. So 70% of Enyaq buyers of the general Enyaq go for the 80. That's the 77 usable kilowatt hour battery. 30% of people go for 21-inch alloys, which this car is sitting on. The crystal face, 40% of people are into that. I'm not sure, really, I don't know. Nighttime, I'd say it looks pretty bloody mean. Massive crease down here, just squaring down to the front of the car. They've delivered 50,000 Enyaqs so far to customers. Isn't that amazing? Although there's 115,000 orders, so they haven't even delivered 50% of the cars that people want. Mamba green is this colour, by the way. I hope you'd be brave enough to have a look at it. You'll get a black roof as standard on whatever RS model you go for. Black high gloss down here. The side of the car has the same colour side skirts, makes the car look lower than it actually is, because it does sit kind of on the high side, and that does affect the drive. I'll get to that in a bit. Black Skoda lettering across the back. An electric tailgate. You can use the virtual foot thingy-bob as well. Now, it's a Skoda boot, so there's all kinds of practicality bits going on for charging cables. It's a 571 litre boot, which is it's kind of shallow actually. Under here, there is places to store your cables and polystyrene holders. This all lifts out, so you can drop that boot down a bit. That sort of famous Skoda lime piping, tubing, is all present throughout the cabin, including in these wonderfully supportive bucket seats with RS stitching on the back. It's in here that you're not also in any doubt that you're in something a little bit more special, but in lots of other ways it's business as usual. Same screen. It's the largest screen Skoda I've ever put into a car. The range is just under 500 kilometers, fully charged. This was at 300-ish kilometers today, and it's about 16.5 degrees. So it's not cold by any stretch. There's still all the storage solutions, things that pop out and do all the usual Simply Clever stuff that Skoda do. Although the little nibs for the bottle, I tried holding it in place and unscrewing the cap, and the bottle just kept going around. Skoda engineers. Physical buttons all still here. Shortcuts to everything you need, your charging, your nav, all works very well. The augmented reality heads-up display in here is just wonderful, but it's not standard. But it's so good when you're using nav. I'm in a totally random country and I haven't got lost once. I took every exit I was meant to do. It just really, really helps. And because it's in your line of sight, it just helps you kind of focus on the job in hand. They've even made the glass roof extra thin to not impede on your headspace. So the Skoda Octavia Combi, you know how much headroom is in that? It's very similar in the Enyaq Coupe. So it's cleverly done. And yeah, I feel nice and cocooned, nice and special. This suede thing, how will that survive in time? Not sure. Do not fear, Skoda fans. The umbrella, of course, is still here, even in the passenger door. Nice touch. The benefit of things like that ultra-thin glass, again, it's felt here because the sloping roofline and a design like this car, you'd expect it to come in. It doesn't. The headroom is just wonderful. There's a little black cutout here as well, and there's a lovely tint on it. It's never too bright, even though there's no cover for keeping that glass protected. Loads of legroom back here, like really, really benefits from obviously a flat floor. Nice little storage thing that again is an optional extra if you go for certain packs, but how handy is that? Pull it all out and wash it, whatever you want to do. And there's two USB-C charging ports down here, your own individual climate control, nice big armrests, good chunky holder there for the drinks. Nothing's going to nothing's going to go anywhere. Access to the boot also as well. And it's a great place. Like, there's storage items for phones and devices also down here. And blinds, again, for families and stuff if you need that. Very, very handy. I know you can buy these things in Halfords for 30 quid or whatever, but you can't be factory fitted and things like that. So again, very, very positive experience in the back of the car. I'll start with the good points. Put the boot down, off it goes. Straight, instant, boot down torque. No surprises there, the way it should be. On these more unsurfaced, different surfaced, potholey, bouncy parts of roads, it can get a little bit seasick. Also, if you go into a corner with just a little bit too much speed, you'll soon know about it, and you're kind of hammering the brakes, and the weight of the car is kind of shifting, and now at motorway speeds, it is a nice cruiser. Again, however, as soon as you tip to the 120 kilometer speed limit, or maybe even ever so slightly over it, again, those kind of bumps in motorways, very smooth surface, but still a kind of a whoa. And in an RS car, you kind of want it so planted on the ground that it feels like it's not going to budge. And again, I just found myself at those upper end of motorway speed limits, and it's kind of here now again. It's like, whoa. It's quite soft for what is an RS car. I actually really love some of the autonomous features, like when the car knows there's a bend coming up or there's a junction you're exiting, which you can't miss in the augmented reality heads-up display. There's a little bit of braking applied for you. And actually, if you're in a country that you're not familiar with, it's kind of nice because you're like, oh yeah, it's this exit, right, thanks car. There's also a bit of help if you're going into a bend. It can read the road line and just gently assist you around a bend. But I think at all times you kind of feel the weight of the car. And on 21-inch alloy wheels, which 30% of Enyaq customers go for, by the way, there's a little fact for you. Like, here's a perfect straight road. Boot it. There's a lovely whistling noise as it takes off into triple digits, and it's ended with a bend here, and it is a capable car once there's not a series of bends going on, and it is quick in a straight line. I just think as soon as you started introducing bends, it becomes a car that you just can't throw into corners the way the RS name might suggest you can. If you pump the accelerator, much like the ID4 GTX that I reviewed on the channel earlier on this year, you're going to see 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. If you want to see closer to 20, then you're going to have to be a little bit less urgent with the right foot. If you want an Enyaq with slightly better looks, a slightly increased range, by the way, this will do 15 kilometers extra if you have the larger battery. It's going to feel special enough. The seats, the looks, go for Mamba Green, go on, I dare you to. It looks so cool. When it's filthy, I'm not sure, but in this Tuscany sunshine, and it's lovely. It really just looks lovely in the sunshine. It's so bright, you can't, like, people driving around are just kind of going, what the hell is that? But if you want straight line smiles, then it will deliver it, no questions asked. The other thing to remember is if you get one of these, you're going to get so much stuff as standard. Like, dynamic chassis control won't be standard, and the Matrix headlights won't be standard, but pretty much everything else you see in the car, glass roofs, all those seats, trim, space, connectivity, all is standard. And all the safety stuff, blind spot, and the augmented reality actually is another optional extra. It's Ireland, come on! So thank you for checking out this first drive review of the all-new Skoda Enyaq Coupe RS. Did I forget an IV? I think I did. Here's my sum up of the car. You've got to go back almost 100 years since Skoda made their first coupe. And who would have thought back then where they'd be now in terms of producing cars like this? It's wonderfully quick in a straight line, wonderfully eye-catching in this colour. I do wonder how many we're going to sell. Obviously the coupe will probably do better than the specific RS model. Mamba green, come on, just be brave enough and go for it. Price-wise though, when you look at the ID4 GTX, which is about 70 grand, and that's not a, an R model. Question is, where is this going to end up price-wise? Will it be 80? Will it be 90? I don't know. But it's something kind of unusual and kind of quirky. And if electric is going this way and can look this funky and go that fast in a straight line with some drawbacks into bends, let's be honest, then we're still going in the right direction, I think. Any comments, questions, thoughts, comments on this first look review of the Enyaq Coupe RS model, please leave them below. Maybe we've earned your sub today. If you haven't subbed yet, please do, and I'll see you on the next one.